What's going on, people? This is the man of the hour, Leo Rush, the 24-year-old piece of gold himself. Listen, we're doing a little show called Take It to the Table where we're talking about everything wrestling. So share, subscribe right now.
What's up, everybody? It's your boy Chaos, so welcome to a new episode of Take It to the Table. Now, I know it's been a minute, but don't worry, we are back. We are full flow. I got all the equipment here. I finally moved into my new house. Obviously, I've been trying to churn out as much content as I could whenever there's a new pay-per-view or a big major pay-per-view. I try to get with the guys and do some virtual reviews of the pay-per-views. But now it's all gonna be. It's all good in the hood now. All right, so you're gonna expect more content, expect more frequent content, and I'm gonna be covering more stuff. I'm gonna be doing news, reviews, anything regarding any major stuff that's happening. So it's gonna be mainly that. Maybe even throwing a couple top 10s your way. All right. Before I get into anything, be sure to go and check out my homie Ride's new clothing line, Dream from the Block. You may have seen it on a couple episodes with Mr. Rhymes rocking it and also Rides himself rocking it, but now it is fully launched right now. I'll delve more into that at the end of this video so you can get hold of one of these bad boys right now. But again, before we get into the Double or Nothing pay-per-view, we gotta talk about the madness that's been happening in WWE. If, in case you've been hiding under a rock, there's been some massive releases across the board, both on-screen personnel, behind the scenes, commentators, all that kind of. Everyone has been affected, and it's scary times now for WWE. The latest people that's actually been released. I'll get the list for you right now. Aleister Black, Lana, Murphy, Ruby Riott, Braun Strowman, and Santana Garrett have all been released from WWE. Now, obviously, it's a huge shame that people have lost their jobs because of these quote unquote budget cuts. But this was crazy, especially the two names that blew my mind were obviously, which I'm sure if you've been watching the product, it would have blown your mind as well, is Braun Strowman and Aleister Black. Braun Strowman is the most WWE guy you could ever ask. Like he was Vince's play toy. You know what I mean? He was Vince's play toy, and it's crazy how he's been released. Obviously, they're saying there's rumors of that he actually asked for his release because he's looking to get into bodybuilding or something like that. There's also talk about with his contract. He had a contract that was worth up to $1 million. He's been very secretive about that, but still, it is actually crazy how one of the biggest names in WWE right now is actually being let go. And when it comes to this budget stuff, no one believes it. Obviously, it's quite known in the corporate world that at the end of the day, you're just a number. In the words of CM Punk, it's actually crazy how this has come to. The thing with Aleister Black, absolutely baffling as hell. He literally just was on SmackDown, made his on-screen return, black masked the hell out of Big E, and now he's gone. Like he's also tweeted about this, saying that this was completely left field for him. He just came back. He had all these ideas, all these plans for him. So he doesn't understand it, but he respects it, and he still spoke quite highly of WWE. So that's thoughtful of him, I guess. But it's absolutely baffling. Lana, that's another one that I thought was very high up the ranks of WWE. Like Vince loves Lana, so it was baffling. There's also talk about her that she actually asked for her release because she's gonna probably go into modeling right now. And to be honest, outside of WWE, she's doing pretty good. So, but like, it's absolutely crazy. All these people, well, majority of them, they were on TV within the last 2 weeks. You know what I mean? So it's really baffling. Obviously, it's quite similar to the Alexander Wolf. He literally got kicked out of Imperium. Next day, he got released. But the thing is that it's all coming out of nowhere. Like, there's no rumblings about them leaving, or they're feeling unsettled, or they're leaving cryptic messages. Everyone's just getting cut left, right, and center. And now, the fact that Braun Strowman and Aleister Black got cut, literally no one is safe. I'm pretty sure everyone's bricking it right now, and understandably so. It is. The reason I wanted to obviously bring this up is because obviously I wanted to put my 2 cents in it, because it was a crazy shock. This whole year has been crazy in terms of departures in WWE, and then big name arrivals in AEW. Let me just put this out there, that if they all end up being at AEW, please get rid of that notion saying that they're becoming the new TNA, as in they're just buying or taking up all these talents, because you're just a plain hypocrite. Because obviously, when people that's big enough, they get let go, everyone's commenting saying, "Oh, how could you let them go? All the best in their future endeavors. This was a big loss. It's you guys messed up. You're gonna regret it." And then they go to the rival, and then those same people start saying, "Oh, the AEW is basically TNA. They're buying up all these WWE rejects." But they weren't rejects at the time when you was complaining about them being let go. So that's the thing. These people ain't rejects. They're big names. There's enough stock in them for them to cause a little shakeup in the wrestling industry. So if they ever chose to go to if they ever chose to go to AEW, there's nothing wrong with that, and it's not showing that AEW is becoming, hello Casey, and it's not showing that AEW is becoming the new TNA, because TNA did it the wrong way around. They got a lot of superstars that really outstayed their welcome, and they kept them going and going and going. And that was at the beginning. As soon as they started getting Randy Savage, they started getting Jeff Hardy's, Christian Cage, all these veterans, if you will. But when AEW started, the only 2 WWE guys that was in there really, when they started, was obviously Jon Moxley and Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho obviously being the oldest, but there was a lot of stock in Moxley. So yeah, like obviously they got a lot of people that's veterans in the game, but AEW is not doing what TNA does, which is instantly put them in the main event and make them start winning titles. The reason they did it with Jericho is because Jericho has a lot of stock. Jericho said it himself. The reason they put the title on him because they know that, okay, if Jericho gets the title, a lot of fans that know Jericho is like, oh, is Jericho's champ? What is this new product? Oh, okay. This is where it's popping right now. Okay, it wasn't because they didn't have belief in all their current pool of unknown talents. I mean, if that was the case, you wouldn't see Darby Allin become champion. All that talk about if Lana, Aleister Black, Braun Strowman all go to AEW, yeah, it's not because they're trying to sign up the leftovers of WWE. When you were complaining that they got let go in the first place, that's not the case. Like, they got enough stock to definitely make AEW better than what it is now. Let's be real. Like, I'm not an AEW fanboy, but you gotta call a spade a spade. Like, it's good, much better than Monday Night Raw in the last couple of years. So let's not get into that. But yeah, it's all I can say is that best of luck to them. I know they will all find their feet. They got plenty of ventures outside of WWE. So, but it was just crazy. I never in a million years would hear or see Braun Strowman getting released, unless he did something controversial, you know, that kind of stuff. But he was a WWE guy through and through. Aleister Black, that was a frustrating cause. He had such a stop and start role when he went to the main roster. He was well loved in NXT. I'm so glad that I got to see him in action in person, both in NXT. I was actually at Takeover New York when it was him and Ricochet versus the Viking Raiders. Wicked match. So happy I actually got to see his entrance in person, and yes, it's fucking badass. And also I was there at WrestleMania when he made his tag team debut with Ricochet as well the next night. So I'm so glad I got to see him in person, see him in action. But yeah, he's gonna land on his feet. He's gonna be totally fine. Braun Strowman, wherever he goes, he's gonna make a huge splash in wherever he goes. That's what I'm saying. He was such a WWE guy. He had a sound effect. At one point, they gave him a sound effect. You know what I mean? No one else had a sound effect, but he did. You know what I mean? So it was absolutely crazy. But now, after all the shock kind of died down for me, I was just like saying, like, clearly there's something big in the works. It looks like they're definitely trimming down the fat in order to do something big. You know what I mean? So it's definitely not because of money. They're a multi-billion-dollar franchise. There's been times before where Vince says that he would be open to selling the company if the right price came along. But he also did put. I'm pretty sure he put a price tag that was way higher than what it was actually worth. You know what I mean? So it's a crazy time. But if they do sell, I think it all depends on who is going to take over the mantle. You know, obviously, when you hear about takeovers of the company, you expect it to be amongst the family, and it would just be kept in the family. But by the looks of things, if it goes to another company, boy, it'll be revolutionary times where you never thought you would see that again. Or not see it again, but you never thought WWE would be taken over by another company. Like, you know, you would expect that from the UFC. You know, when they got taken over, when Zuffa got taken over by is it Warner Media? I can't remember. I'm an MMA fan and I even fucking know who took over the UFC. But yeah, man. And this Nick Khan guy is fucking ruthless. The WWE president. He is ruthless with this stuff. When he said changes are being made, he ain't fucking ramping. People are getting cut right, left to center. All this shit is happening. Yeah, like I said, it's scary times. And no one is safe. No one is actually safe. So yeah, whilst obviously talking to you guys regarding this and my thoughts on the releases and the potential selling of the company, there's a little article on WrestlingRepublic.com. Big shout out to them if you want to go and check out all the latest news regarding this. They are quite reliable on this. So I'm just going to read a little what's the posh word? Excerpt of I might have used that in the wrong context, but whatever. So yeah, it says despite WWE's history being long and extremely complex, the core of the company has always had one thing in common, and that has been owned by McMahon. However, over the past decade, Vince McMahon has made it very clear that he is open to selling the promotion if the right offer ever came in, but rumors suggested that WWE asking price was significantly higher than what it's worth. As I said, you know what I mean? And there was belief among many that Vince McMahon had no real intention to sell, meaning no rumor deal will ever become more than a rumor. After today's releases, along with the recent mass of WWE office releases, some are speculating that the company might finally be ready to sell. Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful reported this afternoon that multiple wrestlers within WWE had contacted him asking if Vince McMahon was finally preparing to sell after the recent cuts. However, Sean Ross Sapp clarified that while a sale was not imminent, it was entirely possible that after what happened today could be in preparation for a potential sale. Interestingly, WWE stocks went up today after the releases, highlighting the short-term advantages of this financially. So it's crazy how this business world works, where you let go of people, and potentially mess up their livelihood. No, well, you are messing up their livelihood. They ain't getting any money now, but you cause people you make people lose their jobs, their livelihood. You're taking food off their table, all this kind of stuff. But as a business, your stock rises up because of that. Even though you are thriving, it's really messed up how this business world works, and it's savage. Like I said, you're just a number. So I mean, it's crazy. Former WWE writer Kurt Schilling took to Twitter to reveal that he believes the company is preparing to sell after their actions today. As he said, "You don't cut talent assets on this level unless you were trying to maximize profits before a sale. Braun is a legit top guy, a former world champion, and a merchandise mover." Aleister Black was getting a push on TV last week. This is very telling. Yeah, it's actually crazy. There was Aleister Black also commented on this as well. He also, but instead of scolding the company or keeping it vague or anything like that, he actually was pretty defensive. Well, he was defending the creative and Vince McMahon. In his tweet, he basically said, "Earlier today, Aleister Black was released from WWE after 5 years with the company." He was also on Selena Vega's Twitch channel, where he not only defended the WWE creative team, but also revealed that Vince McMahon was a huge fan of his. And at one point was scheduled to win the United States Championship, but Vince wanted to wait until audience returned for him to win his first championship. See, now that kind of makes sense. So obviously, it looks like Big E was still going to be in the Intercontinental title picture. Obviously, Aleister Black feuded with Big E. Big E still wants to feud with both him and Apollo Crews to get the title. Maybe possibly do a triple threat. Maybe involve Kevin Owens. Wait till Money in the Bank, maybe. Aleister Black wins the United States Championship. So I can see that definitely the seeds were planting, and then waiting for him to get his first major win. So fair enough. Black, who will now be going by his former name, Tommy End, by the way, banging name, also revealed that the report that his request to move back down to NXT was rejected was false, and instead WWE Creative just wanted to give him one more try on the main roster. But if it didn't go as planned, he would be allowed to move back down. He said the former NXT champion also went to say that the decision for him to continue wearing an eye patch after his feud with Rollins last year was actually his own. He made the decision to continue wearing the eye patch after he researched a variety of pop culture villains had an iconic look, and he wanted the eye patch to be his. Vince McMahon wasn't the only one high up on Black, with Black stating that both Paul Heyman and Bruce Pritchard heavily pushed for him backstage. Yeah, I knew that Black was very high on Heyman's list. I didn't know about Bruce Pritchard, but fair enough. He noted that despite Bruce not knowing he was aware, he knew that Bruce was heavily pushing for him in production meetings. Despite many higher-ups, including the top dog himself, Vince McMahon, he did describe his final 2 years with the promotion as a slow death. That's what you're telling me. Interestingly, he did state that he actually somewhat enjoyed having the handcuffs on him creatively on the main roster, as it forced him to be creative and think of smarter ideas. Well, yeah, that's like I said, crazy times right there. But he was fine with it. I guess he was fine with it. But yeah, like of course he will find his footing. It's all good. I think he will do pretty well. But yeah, like I said, all the best to these guys. I look forward to seeing them on AEW. No, I'm joking. Not every one of them. But like I said, I just want to point out again, I'm tired of hearing all this stuff saying that AEW is becoming the new TNA. AEW is doing it more smartly, Even though Big Show and Mark Henry, they're all saying they have the itch to come back. Of course you're gonna have the itch to come back. You're a wrestler. It's embodied with you, and you've been in the public eye and part of the wrestling world for a majority of your life, the majority of your career. Of course you're gonna get that itch to come back. I mean, look how many times Hulk Hogan came back. Ric Flair, I'm pretty sure if he had it his own way, he would come back. You know what I mean? But you know, they're using the people smartly. No title matches, no major feuds. You know what I mean? It's and they're using them to really, if anything, put over younger talent as how they should be used. So all this talk about AEW becoming a TNA, stuff it. Like, it's not true. But yeah, that is my thoughts on the AEW. But yeah, that is my thoughts on the WWE releases. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments. Thanks very much.